Joan Rivers said that Michelle Obama was a man before she died. When
was that a joke? I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too, but the way she said it wasn't like jokey. She was like, oh, come on, everybody knows Michelle Obama's the man. Like, remember that?
Yeah, like for that.
Well, I think she died because she had 1,000 plastic surgeries. But
yeah, she was going under.
Yeah.
She just sees these big black arms coming over her face. Big Mike.
Bro.
Everyone missed it until now Joe Rogan just swung a verbal sledgehammer at Michelle Obama's carefully polished media globe. And let's just say, it wasn't all hope and change. One minute she's posting motivational quotes, the next she's catching strays from the king of podcast chaos himself. Did Joe really say that about the former First Lady's cooking show? Absolutely, and that was just the appetizer. Buckle up, because this roast got hotter than Michelle's arms in 2009.
Joe Rogan is calling out Oprah and Michelle Obama for hypocritical speeches at the DNC. Watch.
She's up there talking about income inequality. Like, hey, lady.
Yeah, I know.
You're rich as like, how is that equal? And also, when Michelle Obama was saying, I think she was saying her mother or grandmother was always suspicious of people who took more than they needed.
Yes.
Like, you are worth so much money.
Take more than they need. The Obamas have 4 mansions.
I mean, it's a...
Michelle Obama, the only woman in America who could turn a workout session into a political. TED Talk is still working overtime as the nation's motivational speaker-in-chief. But this time, Joe Rogan isn't buying it. Because when the former First Lady starts turning broccoli into a symbol of moral superiority, someone's got to grab a mic and yell, "Enough already. Stop the kale madness before it spreads."
She says the bars are just different for people in life. Right. The bar was very different for your husband. Very different. And I'm sure he got into Harvard just based purely on his intellect, right? And Harvard Law School. And he was ushered into the presidency with about 2 minutes of public service behind him, right? Like a short stint in the U.S. Senate after being a local Illinois lawmaker. And he was lauded like he was the second.
You'd think after 8 years of planting lettuce in the White House garden like it was the secret cure for political division, she'd take a well-earned break. But no, Michelle's got a brand to protect. Okay, brand that screams, "I do push-ups." So I know what's best for your kids, your kitchen, your soul, and probably your cholesterol too.
When she had her kids, were they private or public? Like, when he was a senator?
I don't know. I just know that...
Like, he was a senator, right?
Yes.
Before he became president.
For sure.
So what, law school, Senate?
I have no issue because I want to live. I have no issue with Big Mike. I don't care that they killed that sex slave in Martha's Vineyard. That's what happens to sex slaves. They drown in ponds. That's what happens. You fuck the ruling class, you drown a pond. That's what happens. If you get your little mouthy, you go into the pond. I don't have a problem with it. I have no problem. I think it's good. I actually think it's good. I think it makes our country fun. I think it makes us unique. I think Putin and them are scared of that shit.
They do it all the time.
I think Putin and the Chinese are like, you don't know what's going on there. Because they got people that maybe they're men, maybe they're women, we don't know.
We don't know. And while the rest of America is still recovering from her book tour, which felt longer than an entire Marvel Cinematic Universe phase, she's now launching herself into some abstract realm of self-help queen moral compass and CrossFit goddess, all rolled into one. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan's just sitting there with a mic and a fistful of elk jerky, wondering why this woman is still yelling at him through Instagram Reels.
Everybody having a good time. The country's almost back to normal before World War III. COVID was just so strange. We lost a lot of people during COVID, and most of them are still alive. Yeah. Before COVID, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. After COVID, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got a dick. I think Pizzagate is real. I think there's direct energy weapons in Antarctica.
It's truly poetic. Michelle tells you to drink more water. Joe tells you to eat more meat. And America just sits in the middle, chewing on anxiety and hot Cheetos. But the real comedy kicks in when Michelle decides she's got a new mission. Saving democracy through podcast platitudes. Nothing screams power to the people like a former First Lady Bess, known for turning school lunches into wet cardboard now, giving TEDx-style sermons about how democracy's on life support. Unless we all do yoga and vote twice a year?
He was saying that Michelle Obama should run for president. If she won, she could pull her out and China would just give up. I was wheezing. I couldn't breathe. Big Mike.
Big Mike.
You know, just so proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender.
Absolutely.
And that's, you know, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man. You know.
Michelle's version of saving America involves a vision board, a jump rope, and 5 overpriced books ghostwritten by committee. Meanwhile, Joe's vision is a sauna, some DMT, and 3 hours of unfiltered conversation with a guy who once punched a bear in Russia. Somehow, both of them think they're doing God's work, except only one of them might be right. And spoiler alert, it's not the one bench pressing kale. Michelle's idea of activism is telling you to believe in yourself, unless, of course, you believe in the wrong political candidate. Then you're suddenly the problem. There's something almost poetic about being lectured on unity by someone whose eyebrows arch harder than the national debt. Every time someone says freedom, without a liberal arts degree attached, and don't even get started on her workout regimens, Michelle wants every American to feel like a failure if they're not drenched in sweat by 6 a.m. Sure, I'd love to do lunges while listening to my inner voice, but right now, that voice is screaming, "We're out of coffee, Joe Rogan?" He'd just shrugged and say, maybe your inner voice needs more protein.
Change her name to Misery Obama. That's really what I think of when I... Misery Obama never has a positive word to say. Never. You know, not about children, not about family, certainly not about her husband. By the way, before we leave this topic, here's her latest soundbite that made the rounds. This happened on June 18th, but I was off. Here it is, SOT 39.
You should have threw a boy in the mix.
I would. I'm so glad I didn't have a boy.
Yeah.
Because he would have been a Barack Obama.
It's like baby Barack. It would have been amazing.
Ooh, no, I would have felt for him.
She just borrowed our boys.
Yes, I got plenty.
Wow.
You catch that? She's glad she didn't have a boy because he would have been a Barack Obama. And that's a hard pass for her. This woman can't stand him.
The weirdest part is that Michelle keeps acting like she's still in office. She'll post something on social media like, "We need to fight for the soul of our nation." And suddenly you're staring at your bag of chips like it's personally responsible for climate change. You know who doesn't do that? It's Joe Rogan. He'll look you dead in the eye and say, "Eat the chip. Just don't be a weakling about it." Meanwhile, Michelle has taken self-righteousness and repackaged it as a lifestyle brand. It's like if Whole Foods became a person slapped on a political science degree and told you your anxiety could be cured with mindfulness and quinoa. And don't get it twisted, Joe Rogan isn't perfect either. He still thinks his multivitamin stack can solve world peace. But at least when Joe talks about alpha males, he's not dressed like a Lululemon-sponsored UN ambassador, cradling a rescue puppy while quoting Maya Angelou with the intensity of a Navy SEAL. Michelle, bless her, famously toned arms, thinks she's bridging the political divide, when really she's just making everyone equally annoyed. Conservatives roll their eyes at her endless sermons. There's a fine line between empowering and patronizing, and Michelle turned that line into a runway. Every time she smiles while scolding Americans for not trying hard enough, somewhere a motivational poster bursts into flames from sheer cringe overload.
Michelle Obama and Harris. Harris comes back as the vice president. Michelle Obama's the president. We get a double dose of diversity.
They'll win.
Let's go, champ.
They'll win. And then who's on the Republican side? DeSantis?
Trump and DeSantis. They have to make a super team. It's the only way they win.
Interesting.
That's the only way they win.
So let me be as honest and clear as I possibly can. Donald Trump is the wrong president for our country. He has had more than enough time to prove that he can do the job, but he is clearly in over his head. He cannot meet this moment. He simply cannot be who we need him to be for us. It is what it is.
She's mastered the art of making everything sound profound, even when it's painfully obvious. Drink water. Thanks, Michelle. Get moving. Revolutionary. Vote like your life depends on it. Ma'am, I just wanted to know how to pack a healthy Lunch for my kids without them threatening to call Child Protective Services. It's like she believes if she says something with enough passion, it magically becomes the truth. Michelle could tell you to floss more, and suddenly it's a civil rights crusade. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan just sits in his sensory deprivation tank trying to figure out how the woman who once said, "When they go low, we go high," now makes you feel low every time you dare to order fries. Don't even get started on her cookbooks. They make Martha Stewart look like she works the McDonald's drive-thru. Half the ingredients read like something a wizard would whisper over a bubbling cauldron. Add a dash of Himalayan bee pollen and a sprinkle of gratitude. Joe would just say, "Here's a steak, try not to cry about it." That's the thing. Michelle's version of empowerment always comes with a side of guilt. Eat a donut? You're not just failing yourself, you're letting down democracy itself. And probably Ruth Bader Ginsburg, too. If self-improvement were a weapon, Michelle would be the nuclear warhead. Joe Rogan? Is the caveman with the club asking, "Is this still gluten-free?"
I will not run for president.
Yeah, I've heard you say I think Michelle should run.
She could win. She could win, I think. I think if she ran, she could win.
Do you ever run for office?
No.
I have to ask you.
No.
No kind of office.
No.
I don't think she wants that, though.
No,
I don't
I
think she
guess.
wants that in her life.
Just-
The bull that they dealt with over the 8 years when he was president.
Because I've got these two young people at home. Being the kids, the daughters of a president, just think about it. Not so easy.
That job for anybody that really good at it.
Yeah, I trust the person who doesn't want the job more than
Yeah.
the person who wants the job.
It's not something that I'm interested in or would ever do, ever.
And if you thought she was done, think again. Michelle's now in her philosopher queen era, dropping vague life advice like it's gospel. You are the light. Great, Michelle. You also covering my electric bill? Joe Rogan looks at that nonsense and asks, "What does that even mean?" And thank God someone's asking. Michelle's the type to make you feel like a delinquent because you didn't scribble in a gratitude journal today. Joe, he makes you feel like a champion. Just for waking up before noon, every time Michelle says, "We need to rise above." Someone in middle America mutters, "Can we even afford to stand up?" She's perched so high on her mountaintop of moral superiority. She probably needs Sherpas just to hand out her book tour flyers. Meanwhile, Rogan's on the ground floor chatting with the guy who invented protein powder out of raccoon DNA. One of these people makes you feel human. The other makes you feel like you need to run a marathon just to earn a cookie. Michelle thinks America's biggest threat is apathy. Rogan thinks it's carbs. Both are technically wrong, but at least Joe lets you laugh about it. Meanwhile, Joe's over there saying, "Try ayahuasca and punch a heavy bag, you'll be fine." And somehow that's more relatable than Michelle's 12-step guide to moral clarity and salad prep.
The one
That's it. This is the one.
Or the first woman
We already
president.
have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
a transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty funny how she said it.
Okay, we all.
And yes, it's exhausting. Michelle turns every issue into a moral battlefield. Eat this, not that. Say this, not that. Meanwhile, Joe just shrugs and says, "Try thinking for yourself." And suddenly he's the villain. Please, at the end of the day, Michelle Obama is what happens when a life coach gets infinite funding. It's a designer wardrobe and a political platform, then forgets most Americans just want to eat lunch without. Being judged Joe Rogan, he's the guy who sits back, scratches his beard and says maybe she needs a nap or a cheeseburger. But Michelle won't rest because resting is for the weak or worse, the uninspired. Her idea of downtime is rearranging her inspirational quote wall while wearing $300 yoga pants and lecturing her Peloton instructor on intersectionality. Joe Rogan, meanwhile, is here to remind us that life isn't that deep. Sometimes all you need is a laugh, a good workout, and maybe just maybe less Michelle Obama telling you how to live.
If they wanted to win, George Soros should have backed up the money truck to Michelle Obama and said, "Listen, you are going to run because people like you. They like you. It doesn't matter, about any of the conspiracies. Maybe you are Big Mike. Who cares?
What?
But you are going to run this goddamn
I can't
country.
believe you went there.
You're going to run this goddamn country."
That is the wackiest conspiracy.
It's a
currently
wacky
available.
conspiracy. Can I make one point for the people that are on the side of it?
Yes.
It is weird, but I don't think she's Big Mike.
Call it motivation, Call it empowerment. Call it whatever you want. But if Michelle Obama gets any more intense, the next time you scroll past one of her speeches, your phone might actually do burpees. It's a wild world, but at least Joe Rogan isn't out here guilt-tripping you into chugging green juice while balancing on a yoga ball and weeping for democracy. Sometimes all you really need is one guy with a mic and the guts to say, "Ma'am, not everything has to be a teachable moment." Meanwhile, Michelle's out here turning grocery shopping into a revolutionary act. Pick the wrong brand of almond milk and apparently you're setting feminism back 50 years. So while Michelle's busy judging your snack choices from her, moral high horse Rogan's over there tearing into elk jerky, reminding everyone that enlightenment doesn't require six-pack abs, a vision board, or a pricey self-help book.